Uh, Now we're on to a new subject, ladies and gentlemen. This one is going to be specifically about dress, just about like the different subjects that cover dress, or like the length of the apparel, the separation between what men wear and what women wear biblically, and like about tightness, modesty, and biblical nakedness. Just all of these subjects compounded into this one. I'm going to try to be quick, but you know how it is. Um, uh, Deuteronomy 22 and 5 actually covers the difference between what men and women should wear. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination. Separation in the way we dress is clearly an important subject to God. Like, he doesn't use the word abomination lightly. Like, he's not just like throwing it out there, just like, if you cut your hair, abomination, if you do this, abomination. It's like, no, it's like only pedophiles, people who engage in bestiality, and people who pervert the bond between a man and a woman, aka homosexuals, are considered abominations in the eyes of the Lord. These are very specific and very bad things, because it really is like a foundational sin that when you look at it, it rips apart the foundation of like entire ministries, of like a connection with God, of everything that you can do. Because if you get like attached to these specific issues, like, you will completely ignore and abandon all of God's ideas by the time you're done with it. I So it's very clear in that the way that a man should not wear a woman's garment, a woman should not wear a man's garment. Men don't wear dresses. Women shouldn't wear pants. You can honestly argue about the social definition of like what is acceptable for a man and what is acceptable for a woman in the modern day, but I would come back that like the only time pants look feminine are when they're very tight to like basically show the curves of like the hips and the thighs, and you guys know what I'm talking about. They're not like an overtly girly outfit. Like, things that exude femininity is like dresses, like summer dresses, skirts, things like that. Like long flowing garments, while breeches and slacks, like, you look at those and you're just like, that's a guy's outfit. One example is lesbians, when they want to look more manly, dress in like hard cut slacks, like, because it looks like what a guy wears, a working man. I feel like my doormates are coming back. So this pushes us into the next subject, which covers modesty and biblical nakedness. And in Exodus 28 and 42, it says, "And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. From the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach." The nakedness is from like your actual stuff all the way down to where your knee starts, past the thighs, because that's where like the suggestiveness is. Like, oh, like as a guy, like the lust of like the legs and just like the butt, like everyone talks about it. Like, she got legs for miles, she's got like this, that shape, that everything, like it starts at the thighs. So when you look at it, like, that is where the biblical nakedness starts. So if your skirts, shorts, dress do not reach below that point, below that thigh point, so I would really say below the knee, just so that like if you don't like shift weirdly, like your nakedness is accidentally exposed, and then that's a huge shame. Uh, um, and then I'm gonna add some ones that kind of like show that it is in fact a shame. Isaiah 47 and 3 says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Uh, it is a shame to not to be naked, like in general. That's kind of like what I'm putting in here. It also says in Jeremiah 23:26 and 27, "Therefore I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and thy shame may appear. I have seen thine adulteries and thy neighings, the lewdness of thy whoredom, and thine abominations on the hills in the fields. Woe to thee, O Jerusalem! Wilt thou not be made clean? When shall it once be?" Like, it's bad to be naked, especially in front of God, to expose this. Like, it's not a simple subject that should be like, well, Adam and Eve in the garden. It's like, when they ate of the fruit, they understood, hey, yo, I'm naked in front of God. There's something wrong about it. And even though it's like wrong for us to know the knowledge of good and evil, now that we know it, our conscience can't be like, well, I'm going to do this evil, even though, Adam and Eve. But like, and also we should focus on the fact that they were married. So for them to see each other isn't a sin. And for God to see us, like, he's everywhere. He sees and knows everything. God always sees us. But it's about what other people seeing us as naked. Because that is, in fact, like conflicted. And conflicting and sexual. And you can see examples of this from Adam and Eve to like Ham, who saw his father in his drunkenness and took advantage of this to see his shame and to shame him, and he was cursed for it. And even a modern example of like strippers and porn stars who have to like be addicted to like drugs and alcohol before they can ever like go online and post things. Like, this isn't the start, this isn't the intro. And if it was just the intro, then you wouldn't be like, then we wouldn't see like the same people. It's like, oh, they're addicted to sex, they're addicted to drugs, they're addicted to alcohol, they're addicted to this lifestyle, and they want to use it to become rich and to become famous. Like, the start of their issues was not at the fact that they were showing off a little bit of skin above the knee. It's just it was just a compounding issue, and then the final part of this segment is about tightness. Mark 14:51 says, "And there followed him a certain young man, having a linen cloth cast about his naked body. And the young men laid hold on him." This scripture is backed up by this overarching theme throughout the Bible that like one tight robe, like you're still naked, having a linen cloth cast about his naked body. That man was still naked. Is a thin robe, tight fitting, kind of, just like what you'd wear as an undershirt, basically. Like, part of this nakedness is about the outline. So just because you have clothes that reach below the knee, if that thing is tight and you can see everything going on, like God says, you're still naked in my eyes, because you're kind of drawing in on this lust. This is more commonly an issue with women and with men addicted to pornography and other sexual sins. That like tight clothes and like wanting to be looked at and wanting like people who are also caught by this kind of like this spirit, really, like they're all just kind of like suggesting that they're open to this thought. They want to be looked at. They want to use lust, which is a deadly sin, to their advantage to make themselves feel better about it. And like really that hardline issue is important for Christians to accept, so that like new converts and people coming in understand that like there is a line, there is a hard line in the sand written by God. So like I don't think we should push it either direction. Either like people preach like to the ankles, and it's just like, we aren't here to add on to God's doctrine. We're here to like help people get saved. And so we go to the line, no further past what God asks us, because that's what is mandated. I once heard a sermon that what moves God should move us, and on the flip side, what doesn't move God shouldn't move us. We should not be forcing issues that he doesn't care about, especially not preaching them from the platform, because the second you move away from what the Bible asks is the second you lose like your entire platform. Like, you have no foundation without the Bible, so don't use the Bible to preach morals that you found outside of it. That's it for the second subject.